saying what I can do and doing it and following through feels good. Let's do that again. 10 to 12 weeks. You got bust your and get in the best shape you possibly can. What is up? Is your boy Johnny Shreve, IFBB Promos, Italic it is. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today, guys, are gonna get right to the chase. This video is for those of you who know that the summer has come around the corner and want to lose some body fat and visually look good very, very fast. Now, like right now, it's what? End of February already. So we have legitimately, I would say, a bodybuilder's prep length worth or length of time before summer starts. So like you got 12 weeks at least, right? You got all of March, all of April, and all of May till June, right? So we got 12 weeks at least. So hopefully by the time this video is out, it'll be around that time anyway. Anyway, for you guys who want to lose fat as much as you can, this is what we're going to do. I thought I'd just make an easy video for you guys to follow and understand and really like simplify this thing. Like it's not rocket science. I was talking to my client the other day, and it's like the amount of information that you need to really know that I or like someone else with more knowledge, education would need to tell you isn't necessarily that complicated, right? Like you just want to know how to drive a car. You don't need to know how to make it, right? Like whatever, right? So whatever that analogy is. Regardless, so for me, it's like, how could I make this very simple for you guys to understand? Look, it's very simple. The hard part is the self-control thing, right? So that's going to be the number one thing for this no matter what. Regardless of doing this for 12 weeks or not, or just whatever you got to do, this is going to take dedication and hard work, consistency, period. So I'm not going to lie to you guys right away. But I'm saying, if you could do those things in 12 weeks, if you could do those things, I promise you, you can and will lose, possibly, right? Literally, I wrote some points down here to make sure you guys can understand I stay on track. And it's like, what can I do in the time? Okay, right now, I can tell you right now, if you start this, you can possibly lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks. Think about it. 2 pounds a week, right? 10 to 12 weeks is 20 to 24 pounds. You could, right? At least 10 pounds. Like literally, at least 10 pounds you can for sure do in 12 weeks. What are we aiming to do within this time? All right, we can possibly gain a little bit of muscle or at least maintain what you have, but you're not going to be building any muscle in this time. You can understand that right now. We're not here to build a bunch of muscle. We're here either trying to continue to like keep that muscle or let it continue to, you know, grow, sustain, or let it grow a bit, but not at any rate of like, I'm going to gain 3 pounds of muscle in 12 weeks. We're talking natural here, right? Making expectations and understanding like the results of those expectations, right? So you look at it this way, in this time, yes, you know, if you're definitely overweight or you need to lose weight or doing this is going to aid to you, you're going to look good for sure, but you're going to be healthier, right? Anybody now losing 10 pounds right now watching this video can like losing 10 pounds would probably make them healthier. It would for me. Literally, if I lost 10 more pounds, I'd be a lot more healthier in terms of like, at this point now, it's like my muscles. It's like my joints. Like I'm trying to run a little more, right? I'm not trying to be 225, 30 pounds. I wouldn't mind just being like 215. It'd be great. I'm still trying. Anyway, and then again, you could lose up to 20 pounds. Literally, you can lose up to 20 pounds right now between now and June, right? Now, what does your diet look like? Right now, like this is, you know, obviously going to give you some very easy, simple things to follow. But again, it's going to take you doing those things. If you just do them, it will work. All right. So number one, if we don't know what our calories are, we don't know what maintenance is, we need to find that out. So those of you who know what your maintenance is, great. What is maintenance? Maintenance is basically your weight hasn't been budging and whatever you've been eating and whatever you've been doing, that's basically it, right? So basically look at like the energy you're putting out in terms of like training or not training. And then the food you're putting in is maintaining the weight you are. That's basically like what your maintenance would be. If you don't know what that is, I made a video before, let it pop up right there, but go to if you want to. But if you don't want to do that now, pretty simple. And we got it. That's what we're on a time crunch right now, right? So you have to act fast. Get some kind of app. Okay, what app it is. I use MyFitnessPal, whatever, use that. It just has a bigger database, whatever, but there might be better ones. Who cares? The point is, it's estimate anyway, right? What we're going to do is we're going to track our calories for like 3 days, right? So don't try and change anything, right? If you've seen that your weight hasn't really done anything, take your weight, or if you know what your weight is, great, as a budge. But if you don't know what you're eating, All you got to do, basically just track your food honestly in an app and just put it in and just see what you've actually been eating. If it ends up being X amount of calories, just make it super simple. And this is nothing at all. Like, don't try to use this, but like, say somebody's 200 pounds for like the last, like, I don't know, 4 weeks and weight hasn't budged. And then they find out they've been eating 3,000 calories. There's your maintenance, right? That's how you find it. Now, from that, we're trying to lose, again, we got to lose 2 pounds, right? Now we have to be in a deficit. Once you have figured that part out, we're going to get in a deficit, and we're going to only get in a deficit of between 10 times your body weight and 13 times your body weight. So you're going to start at 13 times your body weight, and then you're going to go down slowly. You're not going to go from like 13 times your body weight in calories and all of a sudden, boom, you're going to go down to 10 the next week because you haven't seen a budge. That's not working, right? Putting you in a 13 times your body weight in calories is going to put you less than what you've been eating, right? If we find out whatever that is, your maintenance is, right? We're just trying to lose weight between now and the summer, okay? Once you figure that out, great. We want to make sure we do a couple things. Number one, we take care of our protein, because when you're in a deficit, secret is, if you're going to be in a deficit, right? Calories in, calories out. You want to lose fat, you want to gain muscle, you want to lose fat, you got to eat less food, do more, whatever, right? You got to be in a deficit. You cannot be eating more than what you're doing, right? So you have to be training to be in a deficit or in a, dietary deficit, right? And if you want to gain weight, you have to just eat more food. You have to be in a surplus. But the lower we go down, under maintenance, in a sense, the lower you go down, the less calories you actually have to be able to sustain a optimal amount of macronutrients, right? So we think about it. The lower in calories I get, I won't be able to achieve getting what I recommend now is your body weight in protein in grams. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you eat 200 grams of protein, half your body weight in fat, right? So it'd be 100 times 9. Now, how are we going to fill the rest with carbs? That's the next point we're going to make within this diet. You're going to eat more vegetables and going to eat more fruits, right? Just eat more of it, right? You can get clever with your calories if you want to. Like I said, do what you want to do with it, but make sure we at least cover our protein or our fat. Do whatever you need to do after that. Like, do what you got to do to get down. We're just trying to burn some fat really fast before the summer starts. That's what we're trying to do. All right, I'm not saying we're going to sustain doing this. I'm just saying this is what you want to do. All right, we're trying to do this as fast as we can. Now we got the diet thing figured out, the diet part figured out, right? That's we're going to be in our deficit, and that's how we're going to make our deficit optimal as much as we can, right? Getting down. We want to do this energy balance of that and your training. So your training, again, there's things we want to do during this, right? We don't just want to, this is what bodybuilders do, right? So you can almost treat it like your little mini prep. What bodybuilders do with their training is basically volumize everything. We want to train as much as we possibly can, as optimal as we can, to make sure that the muscles stay full, right? Every bodybuilder can relate to that. We want to keep the muscles full. So we train, 6 days a week, 5 days, whatever the split is, heavy, hard, long, whatever, right? That's what we do, right? Because we want to sustain the muscle as much as we can while we decrease the calories. So we want to, again, the whole point of this isn't for you just to lose, a bunch of weight. We want to lose as much fat as we possibly can and sustain as much muscle as we can, or maybe even build a little more, just maybe even just a pound in 3 months, whatever it is. But we're not trying to lose any muscle. So we're gonna try to be in the gym as much as we possibly can. So if you can commit to at least 4 days a week in the gym, right? Now, if you can't, you're gonna understand this. If you can only do 3 days a week, you're gonna have to make sure your training is optimal for those 3 days a week. Fit your cardio in as well too. We're trying to do as much as we can. We're just gonna really talk about, just for a second here, is just the training aspect of it. So reason why I say 4 days a week, because you can do a successful push, upper lower body split, right? Upper lower on one day, lower body the next day, take a break, upper body second day, and the next day, and then lower body on the next day after that, right? You can successfully train your muscle groups twice a week. That's what we're trying to do. We want to train the muscle as much as we possibly can during the week. Frequency, volume, right? And if you can achieve 4 days, great. If it's 5 days, even better, because then you can do a bro split or split up a little more and give more time. And then like obviously push pull legs would be a great idea as well too, which I would say get my book, Push Pull Leg Strength ebook. That's probably the dopest plug I ever have. And you know what's even better than that is making sure while you're in a deficit that you grab some Createch. So we can actually sustain the muscle, keep our brain working as well too, and maybe even build as much too. So use my code Johnny10 for 10% off. Blue Star Nutraceuticals, all those are there. Anyway, while we've done that and we're training as frequently as we possibly can, remember, just take it, almost copy just like what a bodybuilder would do, almost, right? Minus the steroids if you're competing, whatever. Anyway, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you 2 examples. Actually, I just thought of this right now. I'm like, here's why I'm giving you 2 different choices, right? There's the number 1 choice. Get it off as fast as you can in terms of like cardio. Just do the most you can. You know, here's an example for you. My brother was like basically like finally listen to me, and he's like, I'm gonna listen to you, whatever. So I made him a plan and everything else. He's on this mission. He's lost like almost, I think, 50 pounds like now, which is pretty dope. But anyway, one day he calls me up and he sends me, he texts me actually. He's like, is there amount of, cardio that's not good to start out? Now my brother, like, he's overweight obviously, right? But he's like me. He has my genetics in terms of like the guy's still like active as heck, like athletic, he rolls like I would love to see my brother roll with Mike, to be honest. It'd be dope because they're both like very strategic and big. Anyway, I know that he has a good amount of fat that's on his body. And I'm like, not necessarily, because like, until your body gets down to, because he's eating the right amount of proteins and calories right now, right? So I'm like, well, not necessarily, because like, you have enough fat in your body that you would use that, and you have the most amount of energy right now to actually put that output. I'm like, how much did you actually do? And he sends me a text message, and it said 56 minutes, and I only told him to do 30 minutes, right? And I'm like, whoa, how would that feel? He's like, well, I didn't really notice it by the time I looked up. He's like, I just put music on and, some house music and just walked. And I'm like, dope. I'm like, well, do this, do a cardio blitz. Do that as long as you possibly can, right? Do 30 days, do it every single day until it gets hard, and then decrease it back like 15 minutes, like so 45 minutes or like to 30 minutes, whatever, right? And he did that and it worked. So there's a way you can do it really, really quick, or you do the least amount in terms of like what you're doing with cardio. Say add like 30 minutes 3 times a week. You're in enough of a deficit. If you see that your body weight is going down fast without having to use the cardio as much, if you're doing like 30 minutes of cardio and you're eating X amount on this plan and you are dropping 2 pounds a week, great, you're good to go. If you're not, then something's got to give, right? So then we have to either increase your cardio or decrease your calories. And I'm going to say, if you're starting on a lower end, then you just increase the cardio and not decrease the calories. You'll need the calories and the energy to output more wattage or intensity with your cardio. And that's the biggest mistake people make, is that they dice both. They add way too much cardio and eat way too less food, and they can maybe sustain it for like a couple days, but then all of a sudden, when I say wattage, like the amount of intensity or energy that they're putting out stride for stride or step for step is starting to decrease, right? That pep in the step is like, now they're not like, let's, lose this weight. Now they're like, we're doing this kind of stuff, right? So if we can give ourselves the right amount, and that's what bodybuilders do. If we can balance out the perfect amount or close to the best optimal amount of calories to give you enough energy to have more intensity, and then just raise the cardio until then it's like, okay, I don't have to do this much cardio. Like, you're not trying to do 2 hours. If you really want to, like, you can. You could definitely lose more, but I don't suggest it, right? Anyway, so say we're doing an hour cardio at this point, then we could probably decrease those calories to that closer to 10 times your body weight in calories, right? So just kind of balance it off and do that, right? So that's what we're trying to do in terms of your diet and then your training. But like whatever training you're doing, just do what you can, or just get in the gym as much as you possibly can and do the most amount you can do in terms of being optimal in the life that you have, like with your schedule. Don't try and do something that you just can't do. If you can dedicate and commit to X amount of days in the gym, X amount of days for cardio, or whatever it is, do that. Don't do any more than that. And once you realize, because this is what's going to happen. At the end of this entire thing, when you do it, and this happens to every bodybuilder when they first start off. I tell you this right now. Every bodybuilder, after the first show, at the end of it, when they get off the stage, they're like, damn, I could have done way more in terms of like, I could have suffered more in a sense. And I'm not trying to say that like in a way to kind of back you off, but it's like, you realize that you worked hard for the first time, like really hard. And then you're like, but like, I could definitely, I did it. Like, I just got through this. I can do this. I can definitely lose 5 more pounds. You know, I can definitely like train a little harder. You know, now you know what it feels like. And that's the beauty of this entire thing. At the end of this, not only do you get, you know, those pounds off and you start to see your body that much better, but you have committed and accomplished and achieved at the end of this thing. And that is like the best positive response you want to get from this. Like, that's a dopamine release that's like, it tells your body, hey, guess what? Doing this feels good. Accomplishing stuff feels good. Saying what I can do and doing it and following through feels good. Let's do that again, right? So think about it. That's all we got to do. 10 to 12 weeks. 10 to 12 weeks. You got bust your ass and get in the best shape you possibly can. And then at the end of that, we'll talk about like, you know, what to do maintenance-wise and how to really keep ourselves in that place. That's another video. But right now, let's get to it. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys. If you give this a try, let me know in the comment section below. Legit, like, I literally, let me know. Send pictures or whatever on Instagram. I want to see this happen. I want to see you guys do it. All right? Straight up. Let me know. And guys, hit the description below for those discount codes or promo codes that'll save life and change life for the better, like Johnny 10 for 10% off, Bluestar, nutraceuticals.com. I think I'm about to make an ebook, maybe. Make a nutrition ebook. How to bulk, how to maintain, how to get shredded. Like, it's as simple as possible with exactly what you need, just straight up the basics, load it up with some good knowledge. Yeah. What do you think? I think you should do a nutrition ebook. Anyway, guys, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.